Welcome to The Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
Hello, welcome to the Bold Book of the Day. Today's Bold Book of the Day is with Kalisha Williams, and she is the author of Precious Prayers. I am so excited to have her. And of course, you know, this podcast is for anyone looking for inspiration, and you will get a lot of inspiration from Kalisha. Welcome, Kalisha.
Hi, everyone.
We are so happy to have you. Tell us about Precious Prayers. Why did you write this book?
Well, Precious Prayers was a book that was inspired by just my everyday life as a mom. I'm a mom of two. I have a daughter, Azaria. She's 15. My son, Zion, he is 7. So it was just based on a story that took place with my youngest, my son, during his first year of school. And I just wanted to convey that to the public and just express how we were able to use prayer and incorporate prayer into a learning experience for him to conquer a problem that he was dealing with at school.
Beautiful. I know you come from a religious background. You want to tell us about who you are and how were you raised?
Okay, so I'm 30. Well, I'll be 32 years old this year. Born and raised in a small town, Canton, Mississippi. It's probably about 30 minutes north of Jackson, which is the capital here. I was a preacher's kid. I'm the youngest and only daughter of 3. I have 2 older brothers. I basically grew up as the only child because my 2 older brothers are it's probably about a 13 and 16-year gap between us.
Oh wow. Oh
Yeah, my
wow. Yeah.
youngest brother, he actually turned 45 today, so happy birthday to Trail. But yeah, I'm the youngest and the baby, so my background was pretty much church, and more church.
So you were brought up in the power of prayer,
Yeah, I
and
was.
precious prayers surrounded you.
Yes.
Oh wow. So what did your parents think when they heard that you had the idea of writing a book?
I actually surprised them a couple of weeks ago when I got my copies in the mail. They had no idea that I was writing a book.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
I
That's
was,
how
I,
did you keep that a secret? Oh
it
wow.
was, yeah, I'm very private, so it wasn't really hard. But I just came out the bag full of surprises this past year. I actually went back to school and graduated last year, so that was one big surprise. So they were very proud that when they found out that I was working on the whole book process that same year that I
While you were going to school.
was school. Yeah, so
Wow,
they were
wow.
really excited about it.
Oh wow. They must be so proud. Oh wow. That is
Yeah,
insane.
they wanted to keep a copy, and every time I go to my mom's house to pick up my kids in the afternoon, she's, well, I showed my friend your book, and she wants a copy. It like they're sweet. They are so.
Okay, so you have a book signing to plan.
Yeah, so we are looking at next month.
Uh-huh.
I'm shooting for next month, so
Yes.
hopefully we can have everything scheduled. I want to do it probably the weekend of my daughter's birthday.
Uh-huh.
I, I may have not shared that, but the characters in the book are inspired by my kids. I think I did mention that.
Yes.
So I think that'll kind of be fun to kind of celebrate my daughter's birthday, and then that same weekend we celebrate the book in which was inspired by her and her brother.
That is such a beautiful story. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that it's not easy to write a book. What was the process like for you?
So it was kind of stressful at times, especially with me going to school. So I kind of
Mm.
had to find a day set to just the book and kind of just focus on that particular thing. Um, what kind of helped me was, of course, being a part of the incubator challenge and having
Ah,
some peers, and we meet up every week and talk about it. I was inspired by the other authors that were in the group and kind of gave a little insight. So that kind of motivated me to kind of just sit in my corner, light my candle, and just focus and say, hey, let's get inspired. Also, I like to watch movies.
yeah.
I get a fulfillment of watching a lot of family oriented movies. I like history. But for the book purpose, I watched a lot of family oriented movies because that's it kind of helped motivate me to like, oh, okay, I liked, how that went in the direction that it took. So
Uh-huh. That's nice. I love to watch movies when I get a writer's block because,
mhm,
writer's block happens.
yeah,
And I know for me, when I get writer's block, I have to step away from the writing and go do some gardening or go watch a
mhm,
movie, just do something else. And while I'm watching a movie, I usually get inspired, or while I'm doing something else, watering the garden or doing something else totally different from thinking about characters and thinking about the story. It something just always happens, so I see I'm not the only one.
yeah, yeah, it
Wow.
happens.
Wow. Now the illustrations, oh, they're so bright and so good. How did you come up with the looks of the character? I know you said that the book is inspired by your children, but how did you come up, because it just came alive.
It really did. So initially, when I decided to write a children's book, I already knew who I wanted to be my illustrator.
Mm,
Ashley Charmaine is her name. She's
mm,
originally from, I think, Massachusetts, but we actually went to high school together. She's about, I think, maybe 2 grades ahead of me, but
uh-huh.
she actually wrote a book. Well, not wrote a book. She illustrated on
Illustrator.
another book that one of, I think, publishers with you,
Yeah.
and
Yes,
she shared
yes.
it on her social media, and I fell in love with like the colors. They were so bright. I was like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna use this publishing company.
Yes.
I'm gonna use this illustrator, and it just makes we're from the same hometown.
Yeah.
So it was the process was really really easy. She was great. I
Yeah.
absolutely love her. I reached out to her via email. She reached out right back, and she kept me in the loop throughout the whole entire process. I told her what I wanted, how I wanted, everything to look, colors, and she brought it to life.
Yes, I am so impressed. The way the colors are, the color of the people, like the brown people are brown, the black people are black, and it looks so rich and beautiful. And I love that because, we don't always get the representation for our children that they deserve.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful to see that they can open a book and see people that look just like them.
Yeah, and
And
that was really important to me. When I wanted to surprise my son well, both my kids when it first came out, but they caught me while I was like going through the images one day on the computer, and my son was like, "Mom, that's me. That's me as a
Oh,
cartoon." So, it was fun to kind of see him recognize himself in the illustrations, even though, he kind of ruined the surprise, but it was all fun.
listen, young people, you cannot surprise them.
You
Okay,
can't. You
it's
can't.
really hard because they're into everything. But I love that you were inspired. The story was inspired by them, and the characters, the pictures were inspired by them also. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness, what is next for you?
Oh, what is next for me? Well, I just recently started school this week, actually. So I graduated with my associate's degree last May
Uh huh.
from a community
Congratulations!
college. Thank you. And so we just entered into the university to complete my bachelor's degree. So
Yay!
we're working on that. I'm hoping to obtain my bachelor's in early child care development and family education. for obvious reasons. I love kids. So yeah, I'm in the process of trying to complete school. Also kind of get my book out there.
Yes,
But I do
yes.
plan on writing more children's books.
I believe you should. The way you presented the message of Precious Prayers is really unique. You know, I know there are books out there about prayers, but I love the story, how you integrated. I mean, I don't want to put it all out there, but guys, you got to get the book. You got to get the book. It's really nice how you integrated the story of first day and how to learn to pray and stand up for yourself. And it's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
And yeah, and so we deserve more books like that. Yes. I wanted to ask you if any of your teachers were ever an inspiration to you, because from reading the story, I kind of know a little bit about it. So I wanted to know, any of your teachers inspired you?
Yes, I had uh, a lot of teachers actually. One in particular, I can't remember her first name. Her last name was Crane at the time. She was originally from New Orleans, but she was my third grade teacher.
Hmm.
She was very influential in my life. She had a method of teaching that registered with me because
Hmm.
I was like mm, I was a hands-on learner still.
Okay.
I still am. So
Uh-huh.
and then she incorporated a lot of music and like physical stuff. Like funny that you asked that question because one of the questions in my class that I'm taking, they asked us because I'm trying to pursue a degree in getting in education. They wanted to know what in teachers inspired us, and I
Uh-huh.
spoke on that. And I was explaining to the class that I learned my 7 continents through a step that she taught us. I don't know if you're affiliated with like a sorority or anything, but she taught us 7 continents through this step. And it was fun. And it was something that I still, kind of, it stayed with me over the years. And I was able to teach my daughter, her continents that way, 20 something years later. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I
love
also
teachers,
had a lot
man.
of influences as far as my Sunday school teachers. Um,
Mm.
Most of my Sunday school teachers, they were actual teachers and, real teachers. So they
Hmm.
were a big influence in my life as well.
Yeah, I think that teachers, when they do their jobs, they inspire our children to just move mountains. And I believe that it starts at home, but it also continues with a teacher that is focused on powerfully in implementing things that can make the child pay attention to their learning way. Like you said, you had a specific hands-on is best for you, and it's nice when a teacher figures out that it's not every child that learns the same way, and they implement those tools or different ways for our children to learn. So
Yeah,
I love that. I love teachers. You guys are my favorite.
right.
And yes, a teacher made me who I am today. Well, a teacher who paid attention and made me feel special, made me feel like I had something, a gift, something to give, made me
Mhm.
who I am today. So I have a publishing company because my third grade teacher told me I wrote a beautiful story and just kept pushing me to write more and write more and write more. And I wrote a lot of stories in the third grade because she just thought they were beautiful. And she said that. So it's so important to pay attention to children and speak over them and speak
Yeah.
powerful, to them, and let them believe in themselves. Just speak life into them. Yeah. So I see your book as a teaching tool also, precious prayers, right? That's what you
Yeah.
intended.
It was. So uh we do this thing called youth day at my church. every third Sunday is dedicated for the youth to be in charge. We have youth teaching Sunday school, youth doing the devotion. They sing in the choir, they serve on the usher board. And it is so heartwarming to see, especially our young boys, lead the devotion. They do a hymn, they do a prayer, they read a scripture, and it really warms your heart just seeing them, like start at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very shy. Like I'm kind of shaking just speaking right now.
I
I'm
don't know
I'm
why.
terrible at speaking in public. That's something that I want to overcome, but I'm very terrible at it. And
You're
I
doing very well.
thank but it is just so heartwarming to see those young kids up there, serving God and not being ashamed to do it.
Hmm.
So it was really important for me to write the book and explain what prayer means on their level
Hmm.
so that they are able to kind of put that into action.
Now, are your children a part of the church? Like, are they involved?
Yeah, they're actually at church right now. Um,
Oh, good.
it's third
Nice.
Sunday, so we have a choir rehearsal on the Saturday before. So,
Ah,
and then we have a Martin Luther King program tomorrow, so they'll probably be a part of that too. So, yeah, they're very active.
beautiful. Just like you were when you were,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah. Now, said that you are a preacher's kid. How was that when you were growing up?
Well, I live in a small town, so
Mhm.
everybody kind of knows everybody. So, um, it was kind of intimidating when I was younger. So my dad got called into the ministry when I was in the third grade. So
Mhm.
initially we left my home church and we were traveling to different churches every Sunday. So I
Mhm.
didn't really like that. I
Mhm.
appreciate it now that I'm older because I was able to meet, people and stuff like that. But I didn't really like it back then because, at 9 years old, like I just want to go to my home church. I want to be with my friends and, and all that. But it was I didn't really like it. Like I never knew what church I was going to, until
Mhm.
he was called to pastor a
Mhm.
particular church, and then we were there for a while. But yeah, the process before he accepted a church home to pastor, it
Mhm.
was kind of um
It was grueling for you.
Sure, it did. And I think if I was a little older, it would have been a little better. But at 9 years old, like I being in a new place every Sunday, it was like
Mhm.
I don't like it at all. But I appreciate it now.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
how was it in school knowing that you are a preacher's kid? Were the kids hard on you?
Not really. Um,
Mhm.
like I said, we kind of um everything is kind of centered around church, if that makes sense. Like all
Okay.
my friends and other classmates and my peers and stuff, like even if they weren't like preacher's kids, they were active in church. So I don't think that me being a preacher's kid was intimidating or
Okay.
made me stand out in any kind of way because the Canton community was kind of very um involved in church. Like I had classmates that were very involved and active. So I don't
So
I
everybody kind of like went to the same church. Like the kids from your school went to the church in your area?
well, we're Baptist affiliated, so
Uh-huh.
majority of the churches in my hometown are Baptist affiliated. So
Mhm.
we may have not gone to the same church, but we were affiliated through like the Madison County Baptist Association.
Oh,
So
okay.
at one point in time, we would probably see each other, or have to do some type of program together or something like that.
Okay.
A big thing here in the South. We do revivals. We do spring revivals. We do
Mhm.
fall revivals. So every week, a different pastor has to bring the message, and we're constantly visiting those associating churches. So yeah.
I love it. it's not a big community, and so it's accepted that
Yeah,
you're a preacher's kid. You're not getting any special treatment, and you're not getting any beef.
yeah, right.
You're not having any beef with anyone, so that's good. Now, do you remember learning to pray?
Um, I do. So my very first time praying was, well, on my own,
Mm-hmm.
was at my dad's church. And of course, being a preacher's kid, you're always kind of nominated to do stuff. I think that's where the intimidation came. The intimidation wasn't at school. It was more so
Uh-huh.
at church because I was always, oh, Pastor Williams' daughter can do it, or I was always volunteered to do something, and
Uh-huh.
I felt like I have to do it because my dad's the pastor, and I have to lead by example. And once I do it, the other youth will follow. So I kind of, in a sense, felt like I had to be a leader, even though I really didn't want to lead.
Yeah.
But I was asked probably about 20 minutes before a program started to do a prayer. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know what to say other than what I hear everybody else say. So I'm a writer. Obviously, you know that.
Uh-huh.
So I've always had to write stuff down. So I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay, well, what do I want to say? So I was able to kind of just break it down and write it. I read my prayer. That was, like I said, it was my first prayer. So I did write it and read it. But
Uh-huh.
after that, I kind of got comfortable, just saying what was on my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you find that people come to you as the pastor's daughter when they are in need of prayer?
Um, I think in my circle of friends, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. Yeah, my best friend, she's actually a preacher's kid too. Her mom and dad are both
Mm-hmm.
ministers, so we pray together all the time. Um, she's a little bit more hands on than me because she went to a non-denominational church, so they're a lot more um, active. But
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I think it's good to have a band of supporters that you can pray with, and they can pray for you and with you and all that.
Definitely. In my church, we have prayer warriors, we call them, and they used to meet every Sunday morning, 6 a.m. And if you had a problem, just go to these prayer warriors. And sure enough, they just make you feel like you had support, even if whatever you're praying for, you didn't get the best outcome or the outcome that you wanted. You feel that you have support. So I feel like it's a great thing to start children off by teaching them to pray and teaching them how important it is to lean on like-minded people that are believers just like yourself, so that when you have something that feels overwhelming, when you have something that feels like you can't reach it, or when you have a goal that you want to obtain, but you just don't know how, you can go to your prayer group or your tribe and say, hey, can you help me pray with this, about this, for this? And, you feel supported. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing about your book. There are, so many people out there that want to teach their children about prayer, but they don't know where to start. So, Precious Prayers is where you start. When did
Yeah.
you? Yes, you have to. This year, you have to do some book signing. I know you have one coming up next month, but we also have to push this book for a whole year.
Yeah.
So, where are you planning to go and showcase this book?
Um, so I have family in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I plan on trying to get out to Texas. California is also on my list as well.
Yes.
I have family on my dad's side that are out there, and I've never actually been. So I have a lot of family members who I haven't seen in a long time that I want to connect with,
Yeah.
and kind of try to get my book out there.
That's right. You have to, because it's an important message. And
Yeah.
now is the time for prayer, honey. If
Right, right.
ever there
More than ever.
was,
Right.
yes, yes, now is the time. We need it. So thank you for, leading the charge and putting it out there for children, especially at such a young age. You may think that they don't need it, but they absolutely need to learn. Yeah. How old were you when you said your first prayer in church? When you wrote your first prayer?
When I wrote my first prayer in church, I was in the fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess about 10.
Mm.
I think.
Okay, that's not bad. At
Yeah.
10 years old, you kind of, yeah, that's why you were so methodical about it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
so they're asking me to pray. Let me write something down so I don't go out there and look like a fool.
Right.
Embarrass my parents. Yes. Was the writing, I know that you said you were in school while you were doing this. Was the writing process exhausting for you?
Not really. It's writing for me was kind of it's and still is. It's an outlet for me. Like I write
Mhm.
stuff all the time. Like I like to journal. Like in my free time, I'm just constantly writing things. I could be watching a movie and I'll hear a phrase and I'll stop and write it down. So
Oh,
the
wow.
process
Okay.
of writing wasn't hard. I did get writer's block because I didn't know where I wanted to go with the story. And
Hmm.
you would think that writing a children's book is easy, but it's actually kind of hard
Yeah, you
because
need
you're
skills.
trying to kind of not put so many big words in the book because you don't want it to be too advanced for the age group that you're trying to you relate to, but you don't want to dumb it down too much to where
Right.
it's yeah. So that was challenging.
Wow. Do you find that you give books a lot for gifts?
Um, I haven't in the past. I haven't. Now, most recently, I gifted two books this past year for Christmas. But in
Mhm.
the past, no.
What is the book that you gave for Christmas?
um, was it The Alchemist? I
Oh, it's
think.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I gifted that to one of my friends, well, co-workers, and another book was The Five Love Languages.
Oh, that was good. Oh, I read that many years ago. That was good too.
Yeah, he has like a series of different love languages. Like there's one for children, which I actually
Mhm.
gave my friend gifted me that book. And before
Uh-huh.
I could start reading it, I gave it to a friend and we kind of swap books because I wanted the one about marriage and relationships because I was engaged at the time.
Uh-huh.
And she was going through stuff with her kids. So we kind of swapped books. So now we need to swap that.
Awesome.
But
If
yeah.
you had a message that, like, one really important message that you'd like to share with the world, it could be about anything. And let's say you had a giant billboard in your area and you could put this message there and so many people would see it, what would that message be?
It would be probably Pathway to Promise. Um, I was at church a few Sundays ago, and my pastor spoke on. I forgot the message, but he always give three keynotes, and one of the
Mhm.
notes was a pathway to promise. I'm like, okay, I like how that sounds. It's very catchy. Um,
Mhm.
so I decided to go home and kind of break that down and like, okay, well, what is my pathway to promise?
Mhm.
So, like pathway is a course of action.
Mhm.
Promise is like a declaration of assurance, um, to do, give, arrange, whatever. And so for me, pathway to promise means holding yourself accountable for success, creating your own avenue to be successful.
Mhm.
So that kind of really stuck with me, and I would want that message out there
So
for
it
others.
would say pathway to promise.
Hmm.
Hmm. So then you would have to go and ponder for yourself what's
Yeah.
pathway to promise. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like that. I'm thinking about it right now. Like, what's my pathway to
Yeah, it
promise?
makes you think. It makes you think.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it because it's not giving you any promises. You have to go out there and think about it, your
Right.
pathway and your promise. I like it. What is a good advice that you've received?
Um, to always believe in yourself, to always follow your dreams, to just focus on you and invest in you. And that
Yeah.
was something that I did last year when I
Yeah.
took the bold step of reaching out to you, Dr. Denise, and starting this process of writing my book. So
Yeah, when you
those,
came, you knew exactly what you want. When we had
yeah.
our first discovery session, you knew
Hmm.
exactly what you want. You said, I wanted to write a children's book and I wanted to be about teaching how to pray. So you knew and I know who's going to illustrate my book. Like you
Yeah.
knew exactly what you wanted. Usually people come and they don't have any idea. And I like working with both because it's nice to have the balance where you
Hmm.
came, you knew what you wanted and how you wanted it and a timeline. And then I also have those other people that don't know. And so I rejoice when I get to help them find clarity. But I appreciate when somebody come in with, you know, clear goals. This is what I want. So thank you so much for doing your research before and coming in, knowing exactly what you wanted. You got a great book out of it, and it's so vibrant and colorful and full
Yeah.
of, rich
I
colors.
have a copy right here.
Oh my goodness. Yes, bring it up a little bit. Let me see. Oh my goodness. Precious Prayers is in your hands, out of your head and into your
Into
hands.
paper, yes.
Oh my goodness. Congratulations.
Thank
You have
you.
done a beautiful job, and I am so proud of you. Wow. So, how can people keep connected with you?
We have you can follow me on Facebook at Kalisha Williams. My email address will be KalishaWilliams40 at yahoo.com. Precious Prayers also has a Instagram account, Precious Prayers Story. Um,
Nice.
yeah, so
Beautiful, guys. You got to connect with her because if you're in the neighborhood, you must go and support. Go to one of those book signing and get a copy with a message just for you and signed by the author. Now, there are three questions I love to ask all my guests before you go. I'd like to ask you these questions too. So, what's one bold promise that you can share with the audience?
a bold promise. Um, to always believe in yourself, to make time for you to fulfill all your dreams and goals. For me, like I said, I invested in myself last year when I made the decision of wanting to write my book. Oftentimes, we get distracted by life, family. We're constantly pouring into other things to make other people happy. Um,
Hmm.
but sometimes you have to take a step back and say, hey, what can I do to make me happy? What's gonna, make me fulfilled? So, believing in yourself would be a
Yes.
promise for me.
Believe in yourself. Write these gems down, guys, because Kalisha is dropping them today. Believe in yourself. And I'm sure you heard that before. You've heard that, you know, that believing in yourself is the beginning of attaining your goals. But it really is. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself that you can do it, even if you fail, you got to get up and do it again because you believe in yourself. You believe that you can overcome that failure. You believe that you deserve it. That's another thing. Sometimes we don't even believe that we deserve the dreams that we have. You want them, but you somehow find a reason to 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 negate or take that off of the table, believing that, you know what, who am I to want such big dreams? Who am I to want to author a book? You know, But
Right.
believe in yourself, and the opportunities will come. And then invest in yourself, because you want something, you really have to put the sacrifice in there so that you can get the results that you desire.
Mhm.
Good one. What's a bold statement you can share with your audience that will cause a paradigm shift?
To not wait for opportunity, but create it.
Oh, yes, that will cause a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
I'm 100% on that, because I became a speaker because I created my own events.
Hmm.
I I studied it. I wanted to become a speaker, but I didn't know how to put myself out there. I mean, I've learned that, but I didn't know it in the beginning. So
Right.
I created this space for myself. So that's a good one. I love it. All right. Here's the last one. What's a bold move that you'd like to make in the future?
Um, to be an inspirational leader. Like I said, I'm ultimately really, really shy. I have trouble like just speaking. So that's something that I want to accomplish. And I know once I accomplish that, I would become a great inspiration and be a leader that others can follow and look up to. Um, I was actually watching a convocational speech for Martin Luther King for my college
Uh-huh.
on yesterday, and he spoke about there's two types of leaders. There's a transactional leader that's may want to seek a reward of some sort.
Hmm.
And then you have a transformational leader, which is one that inspires, that's constantly pouring into you to like have some kind of impact. So I would, of course, want to be a transformational leader where I can kind of help transform others and that they would, I would have a strong impact on their lives.
That is beautiful. You know, we have the Bold Speakers Academy and we start in September. So think about, by then, you may be ready to sign up for the Bold Speakers Academy. And we do teach people how to be motivational, inspirational, transformational, and content speakers. So there are, you know, a lot of different kinds of speakers, but we'll talk, because if you are ready to start studying and be more and give more and serve more in a leadership way on stages, girl, I could put you on a stage, okay? And you have to be ready, because you're a leader, and so as leaders you have to put put yourself out there as the authority, as the person who people should believe in. And if you're speaking to people and you want them to be inspired and motivated and take action, you really need to know your stuff, and to learn how to convey a message that will transform people. And transform people can transform people.
Right.
So we will put you through a really deep process, so that you can work on yourself, so you can help people work on themselves. We got you.
Thank
So
you.
that's the next bold move. That's her bold move.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for
Thank
coming to
you for
us.
having me.
Yes, people, bring that book up again so they can see.
Yes.
The bright,
Prayer.
beautiful, precious prayers. Yes. Thank you so much for contributing to the literary world and showing young people that they can do it. You know, you don't need anyone's permission to write a book, unless, if you want to write a book, go out there and do it. But you
Right.
don't need anyone's permission. You need to invest in yourself and get that book out there. This is the era that we live in. If you want something, find out who can collaborate with you to get that out there. Because anything you want, there's someone out there that has done it before, that can help you along the way and show you the pathway to the success.
Yeah.
So thank you for being a part of that, and for showing the world that, you know what, prayers are important and young people are still leading the way.
Love
Yes.
you.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. Tell everyone bye again, and when can
Hi,
they
everyone.
and where can they follow you?
Facebook, Kalisha Williams. Instagram, Precious Prayer Story. And email is KalishaWilliams40 at yahoo.com.
You heard it from the pastor's daughter. Now, if you are interested in writing your book, please email me at authordnicholson@gmail.com. I can help you get your book idea out of your head and onto paper. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.